Hi everyone. Today we did get a little bit of the bounce we were looking for. We pushed to that zone of resistance. We did reject. We did end up double bottoming and rallying into the close. Is this base going to hold? Are we going to get that slight continuation higher? Let's take a look at the charts and see if we can find a little bit more direction for tomorrow. Do me a quick favor and like and subscribe and watch the video till the end to help out the channel, and let's get started. So we got the Nvidia earnings and sales grew 78%, but this was already a very expensive company, and you can see it's basically unchanged with that massive growth. Revenue grew 114%, absolutely massive. They're pretty much sold out on these chips for the foreseeable future, at least the next year it seems like. You can see the beat on revenue, beat on earnings, everything continues to go really, really well, but the problem is it's already expensive and all of this was already priced into the stock. Moving over to fear and greed, we finished at a 22. It says 22 yesterday. I think we were a little bit higher than that, but either way, still extreme fear here on the metric, still extreme fear on most of the major metrics as well. You can see breadth not quite there yet, continues to taper slightly. Put call ratio continues to spike pretty aggressive there. Volatility continuing to stay elevated. Safe haven demand pulling back, even more extreme fear there, and then junk bonds still sitting in regular fear with that spike up. People are looking for a little bit of protection, at least in the short term. More of a risk off market. Moving over to earnings here just for a second, pretty much green across the board except for revenue here for Salesforce, missed just barely, not by much. eBay also beating on both. Tomorrow you still got Dell, Autodesk, Monster Beverage, Warner Brothers, Discovery, fairly interesting. Norwegian Cruises, and then next week you still have CrowdStrike. Want to see how they're doing. They've been super volatile recently, so just another one out there that can potentially make some plays. And then getting into the charts here, you got an inside candle. We threw a wick to that 599.64 level, just barely missed it and then rejected from there. Finished positive on the day. We did come up a little bit higher low from the previous in terms of wicks. Momentum still bearish, RSI still bearish, but you have support here at the key level 591.09. As long as that holds, you're in good shape for at least a little bit of a retracement. That is still what we're looking for in the short term, and you can see it here on the hourly chart. You got the low, slightly higher low. Didn't touch the level, got a slight continuation higher here, so looking for the double bottom to hold. Somewhere in here, 591.09 is the level. Came up a little bit short, like I said, 592 somewhere in there. Either way, want to see this hold and get a little bit of a retracement up, get back above 599 if that's possible, and then push to that 603 level. You also got some trend resistance in there, but obviously still downtrend. Looking for this double bottom to see if it has some follow through to the upside. Moving over to the Tasty charts here, you can see we pulled back to the mid-range, rejected from there. We held the higher low off of that ATR band, which is now all the way down at 587.02. We'll see if it continues to hold here. Want to see it get above that 8 EMA and continue up to the trailing stop, which right now is 604.51. That's what we're looking for, at least in the short term. Push to there, find resistance, probably sell off a little bit more, but short term, I think we can find at least a little bit more bounce. Moving over to the Qs, same thesis, inside candle. We're seeing if we can get back above that 514.92 level. We chopped all over it here today, which was a little bit frustrating. Wanted to see it get above and hold, maybe retest continuation. We did hit 519.48 and then reject from there. So you did get a push, you had a trading opportunity, and you can see that here on the hourly chart. Broke above the level, closed above it, hit the resistance, sold, pushed right through this level, double bottom, same as the SPY charts. Really, I wanted to see 514.92 hold, closed below it. We pushed above it after hours. We're right at it after the Nvidia earnings, so we're waiting to see if it's going to hold in here. Want to see it push. We didn't retest that 55 EMA like we saw on the SPY charts. Really want to see it get through there. So a little bit of relative weakness. Want to see it hold this level. Either way, it looks like we're getting some sideways consolidation and at least a bottoming level in here around that 511, 512 area. Then moving over to the Tasty charts here for the Qs, you can see right in here looking for a little bit more continuation. Could not get above that 8 EMA at the close there, 515.87. Wanted to see it close above it and we just couldn't do it. Your trailing stop right now, 525.54. Either way, you have a double bottom. Want to see the continuation here to that trailing stop, 525.50. That would be about 2% higher if we could get to that level, hit these major EMAs, and then start to sell from there if we can do it. Really wanted to see a little bit more out of Nvidia. Investors don't seem too enthused, so that doesn't seem like it's going to carry markets, but either way, you have a double bottom. Want to see that follow through. Moving over to the Russell and the Dow, the Russell level was 214.79. We held that level on a closing basis. Everything continues to look okay here. Momentum hasn't gone with it quite yet, but we pushed up to 18.13 was the resistance, held the level in here, so far so good, looking for a little bit more upside there. And then the Dow still chopping in the same region, touched the lows from the last couple days, was super negative on the day relative to everything else when it was positive versus everything else the other day, yesterday I mean, but overall, as long as 432.78 holds, then you're in good shape. If it breaks down, then less so. Moving over to Apple and Microsoft. Apple finally started to sell off a little bit. It's been kind of moving counter to markets over the last couple days, but finally we got a little bit of a sell here. 2.7% broke the level here. 21 EMA is your next target, 238.28. My level, 237.23. Momentum bearish, RSI bearish. I would be pretty cautious here. Is it going to higher low? Probably. Could it round trip this move back to 230? Absolutely. So be patient here. It's selling after hours. Doesn't look super great. And then you got Microsoft finally getting towards that target. 394.25 was the low. My level was 394.22. So we're going to call that a touch within 3 pennies of the level. So we finally did it. We've been talking about that level. We figured it was going to go there forever ago. We've been talking about it. We had a lot of choppy price action, but finally we went to the level. It found a bounce there, up about 0.5%, basically unchanged after hours. Can it hold here? Maybe reverse a little bit? Certainly possible, but that's the level, 394.22. If it can hold that, maybe we get some retracement back to 413. If we did get here again, though, I would still expect this to sell back to a lower low. Moving over to Tesla and Nvidia. Tesla sold off another almost 4% after hours. It is 4%, looking for 280.06. 200 SMA was our target, 277.59, still the target. That's where we're headed, in my opinion. Continues to sell super aggressive there. And then you got Nvidia, nice little positive day, 3.67%, back above the level, 130.35. If it can hold that level, you're in good shape. After hours, it's down about 50 cents, basically unchanged on Nvidia. So far so good on earnings. You got a nice bounce off the 200, nice higher low setup off of this. Want to see it continue to hold this 200 and push back towards that 140 level, in my opinion. Moving over to Meta and Broadcom, these were cratering yesterday and they caught a bounce here today, 2.5 and over 5% here on Broadcom. Came into this zone here, found a bounce, positive candle, looking for the trend back here at 244 for Broadcom, and then looking here for Meta, almost touched the trend. If this is a breakdown, retest breakdown, that's going to be very concerning. Momentum stepping to bullish there. So far, so good on the push. Need it to get through here. If it does, your 21 is going to be that major resistance at 699.32. If this pushes and rejects off the 21, that is going to be a major change in structure with that lower high setup. Something to watch for here on Meta. They are both definitely at risk for a change in structure and some potentially lower lows, but in the very short term, they do look bullish. Moving over to staples and discretionaries, you got staples finally selling after hitting that 83.43 level. We didn't quite get to the all-time highs, but we got to this zone here, touched that zone and rejected. It was super extended. We talked about it being overbought yesterday, and it was, and you can see here we'd now reversed back down to that 81.85 level. I think there's probably a little bit more selling left in it. But the problem is we're still seeing everything selling. Discretionary is also selling, probably being led by Tesla, but either way, both of these are selling. Need to see it hold the level here, 215.06. So far, that's still intact. Moving over to Breadth. Interesting to see Breadth going lower on a day where we saw markets kind of hold up pretty well. Even with the double bottom, you can see Breadth going a little lower. So not exactly what I wanted to see. Looks like a pretty interesting topping pattern here. Looks like we're about to break below the 21 EMA. We're back below the level 52.81. Momentum bearish, RSI bearish. Not exactly what I would have wanted to see, right? We wanted to see this continue to kind of improve as we got that bottoming formation. Right now it's not doing it, which leads me to believe that maybe this double bottom is going to break through. If it does, that's definitely going to be obviously very bearish. Looking for this to push back to the 40 area would be your next support, but for right now, we're still within this consolidation, hoping that this holds in here. Moving over to bonds here just for a second. TLT and JNK both continue to be very positive. JNK seems like it's about to break out to a new slightly higher high off of this higher low setup here. So you got the low, higher low, looking for the higher high in there at the 97.69 area. And then you got TLT continuing to push towards that 92.82 area. That is what we're looking for, momentum bullish. Almost overbought conditions. We'll probably see a little bit of a rejection from there, but in the short term, TLT looks really nice. Moving over to the VIX. The VIX did end up falling a little bit off of that 20 level. We said we found a little bit of rejection there. We expected it to reject and find some bullishness in equities, and we did. Still expecting this to fall a little bit more, maybe a higher low setup in here around 1650. I don't think it's going to crater all the way back down into the 15s, but for now it does look a little bit bearish to me. Moving over to my accounts, I think I ended up netting about $100 on the day. It says I made a whole bunch more, but I didn't. I don't think I made that much. I think I'm up about 100 from yesterday's close, which is fine. It's nice to make a little bit of money when markets are up. In terms of positions here, I did sell some 510s here for the close, made money on those. Those expired worthless here in the after hours. There should be actually a little bit more on those. They should be all the way expired here now. So there should be a little bit of money coming in. Once these go away, it says 102 profit. Should have been a little bit closer to 140. And then looking at the shares here, still holding these shares around the 514.59 area. Sold the call for tomorrow, 515 for $3.84. So max profit there is going to be 518.84. Are we going to get there? I don't know. It's basically unchanged, up about 50 cents after hours. Want to see it continue to hold and get above that 514.92 level that we talked about. As long as that does, then we should be in good shape, and I'll have no issues rolling out to the next strike if we need to. And then the Russell here, still shares 216 for tomorrow. Really should have made more money here. If I had just held that position, I would have been in better shape, but I tried to get a little cute with it and didn't work out. But for now, $1.30 credit at 216. After hours, we're up a little, so should be in good shape there. Looking to make about 130 tomorrow. Again, don't want to get too bullish because markets are a little bit concerning right now, but it does seem like we're going to go a little bit higher tomorrow. Let me know down in the comment section what you thought of markets today. Are you more bullish or less bullish off of today's charts? Let me know. Otherwise, like and subscribe if you got any value out of this video. Make sure you hit the bell so you don't miss out on any future episodes. Of course, none of this is financial advice. This is all for entertainment purposes. Good luck in your trading and have a great day.